Hello everyone, welcome back to another Unreal Engine video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple water system. Now, before I start with my water, I want to quickly just find a new material for my land because I don't think our dried grass is that good. So, like I did before, I'm going to go into Quixel Bridge. So I have the Quixel Bridge tab here. And I'm just gonna find something grass related, but this time I want it possibly like this mossy grass. But I need to look at one. Okay, so these look a little nice. We could probably use this wild grass. I don't want rabbit droppings, that sounds weird. So I'm going to take this wild grass here and I'm going to wait for it to download. Now I'm just going to add it. Now it is in there. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my content drawer. I'm going to find content. And here I have my m_landscape. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to I'm going to delete my gravel because really I don't want my gravel. So instead of having gravel, I'm going to change this name to layer grass. So now that I have that, I can go back to my content drawer, Megascans, surfaces, and then wild grass. And then I'm going to pull it in. I'm going to do the same with the normal. And then I'm going to attach this to the UV up here. So this I can just put in with layer gravel. I need to change it here too actually. So instead of gravel, grass, enter. And now I'm going to apply it, and what I want to do now is I'm going to go into landscape, paint, and I'm going to put gravel above dried grass. Wait, blended layer, save. I'm going to pull that down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to I don't think that's supposed to happen. So let's redo that. So maybe instead of having it as gravel, let me break these. I'm going to break the ones for this too. Break node links. So now let's say this goes to layer grass and this goes to dried grass. We'll fix the layer names in a few minutes, but I want to see how this works. And then if I apply it, yeah. So let's use this for now and we'll fix the names later. So now it's time to talk about our water system. So what Unreal does is Unreal can create like a very realistic water system. So let's say you have a river, and that river Unreal Engine can use, or Unreal Engine can make like a real river with waves. So first of all, if you want to do that, you need the water plugin. So in Edit plugins, you're going to need the water, and then you're going to have to restart it, but since I already have it, I don't need to restart right now. So now if you go into the add and all classes, you go down to the W's and you have water bodies here. So to start off, I'm going to add a water body river, and so my main goal here in this video is to sort of wrap around our river here, so between this mountain, and then sort of just add a few lakes and rivers throughout here so the character doesn't really get over the boundaries. And one thing I quickly wanted to do is I want to go back into Sculpt, and I just want to add some land into some places so the player can't really get over the land, because it would look really weird if the player was able to get over the land. So now what I can do, I'm going to go back into selection. I'm going to take this, but because as you can see, the rivers and water stuff affect the landscape, so I'm going to take these splines, and as you can see, you can move them around to adjust your spline locations, and I'm going to set the river width to 1000. I think 1000 seems like a good number. 1000. And now I am going to sort of move this. No, not up, not up. Yeah, so now I'm just going to sort of move that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these closer to each other, so for now they don't affect the landscape as much. So alright, so now we have this really small river, and now I can use my points here. I'm just going to move this over, and I'm going to have this point now sort of moved over. Now one thing I want to do is, as you can see, since it affects the land so much, I'm going to bring the river up so it affects the land a little less and it makes it look like a real river. That seems like a good height. Now, like I said, I want it to wrap around here, so I'm just going to make a few adjustments. And another thing about these rivers is that you can add more splines. So if you hold this, press Alt, and keep holding, you can add another spline, and you can use that and just move it around, and you can sort of play with it. For now, I have an idea for what I'm going to do with this river, so I'm just going to sort of like speed this part up because there's a lot of adjusting and adding to make a river. So for now, we're just gonna do that, and I'll be back. Alright, so one thing I want to test and see how it works is making a lake. So as you can see, I have this really sort of small piece of island, And what I want to do here is I just want the water system to sort of move over and connect to a small lake here. So to do that, I'm going to go here. I have it in recently placed because I was testing before. So we're going to use that, and we're going to see, I'm going to sort of move it. I'm going to make a really small sort of circle. Alright, so now what we can do is we can use this and sort of carve out a small lake. So let's say it's about this big. And again, if you want to add another spline, and press Alt. Now it's a little more even. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to select my lake. I'm just going to move the lake up. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of sort of, how would I say it? There's like a lot of movement with this lake. And I don't really want that much movement. So what I'm going to do is so I have my lake selected. I'm going to go down. And let's see. Where do I go? Okay, yeah, well, you can see a lot. I can tell you that that is not how I want it to be. Also, I just want my lake. Well, we'll see. I'll be right back. Alright, so to make the waves a little more smoother and not so rough, like as you can see it is right now, I'm going to click on my water body lake, and as you can see, I have this sort of option called wave source, wave water asset, and what we can do here is we can change sort of how rough the water is, and like just in general how do you say this? Sort of how smoothly it moves. So we can change things like the wavelength and the amplitude. So for now, let's say something like that. And you can see there are little sort of waves. And I think, for the most part, I think that works for like a lake. Now, one thing I do want to do is I want to sort of move the lake a little more. That looks good, but I also want to move the lake down a little, if possible. Okay, well, I don't think I can do that. But for now, I think lake looks pretty nice, and I think it'll work, but at the same time I do want to add a little more fall off to make it move a little more, as you can see. So just play around with these. Right now I think I really like this, and so here's just, we are going to fix that part later. And this feels like, I think we can move the lake up a little. Or the river up a little. But as you can see, I made a small mistake by... We need to pretty much align this with the actual lake. So to do that, just sort of move it. And now we're just back to adjusting stuff and sort of having a good river. So I'm going to go back to just sort of doing a really fast version of this. And I'll see you guys in some time after I do a bit more with this. Alright, so I know I said I was going to make a river around the whole thing, but I think we are going to save that idea for another video. But for now, what I've done is I've created 2 small lakes and a river, and everything definitely needs to be a little more adjusted. As you can see, there are a few things that I need to sort of redo, such as this opening for the lake with the river. I think I can definitely do this again because this didn't look right the first time. So just moving it over a bit. Like I said, a lot of rivers and stuff has to do with sort of adjusting stuff, and this is a really good example of it. But at the end, you'll have a good product. And for now, for this sort of starter, for the first time, I'm making a full-on river system for Unreal. I'd say that this is pretty good, and I really like this, and the sort of, what would I say? Well, I just really like how detailed you can make it. It's really fun to use, and definitely I will use this more and more in the future with more projects. But for now, I'd say this one turned out pretty good. I really liked it, and I definitely enjoyed making it. And we are definitely going to have to be adding more to this landscape. So a quick recap of what we did today. So pretty much we added the grassland, that new texture to it, and the other thing we did was make our river system. Now, before we end the video, I actually have to quickly show you something.
Did you know that life needs
Meet Google Pixel 8 Pro. Capture the cosmos. Make the mini mega.
What's up, guys? Simple what work like and okay, it's the texture that we want to be moving. We're going to do is move it in both axes to create a realistic effect. So let's go ahead and copy and paste this node. And now what we can do is get the UVs and use this panner.
Now I'm gonna go here into place actors, type water so we can see all our water bodies. I'm gonna drag a river inside here.
Alright, so what we're going to do is I want to walk through the water, and if you saw while I was just testing it out, you saw that I was walking on the water instead of walking on it, inside of it. So to change that, what I'm going to do is, let's see. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look at collision here. And I'm going to go into collision presets, and visibility and camera, I'm going to click ignore, and then pawn, I'm going to change to overlap. Now let me quickly do this with everything else, and then I'll show you how this works. Alright, so now I'm just going to spawn into my world, and I'm going to walk. As you can see, I walk into the water instead of walking on top of it. So let's try this with our lakes. As you can see, I'm walking up the hill as well, and I can walk through the lake to the bottom of it. Now, one thing I just realized is that I forgot to change. Oh, no, never mind. I guess this one changed too. So, yeah, I think this turned out pretty well. There are a few things that I definitely wish to change, such as the water spilling out somehow. I do need to learn how to fix that, but that is a problem that I will see to in the future. And I will be continuing this landscape, adding things like trees and plants, and that is probably going to be my next video. It's about adding sort of like plants and stuff. And of course, I will definitely try to make it, maybe this week, next week, I don't know, we'll see. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!